Another exciting college football Saturday. The Citadel on the road with a big-time upset over their rival. We have the highlights tonight.
Week 8 of the high school football season in the books, and we got some questions we need answered. Richie Altman joins us to talk storylines tonight.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Brianne Welch with Logan Reaver. Thanks for staying with us to watch News 2 Sports Overtime. Now, we hope you had a lovely snuggled up weekend on your couch because it was rainy, it was cold, and it could have been the rain shooting football. It couldn't have been fun shooting in the football for 6 hours. In the football?
Fun isn't the word that comes to mind, but the game itself was a good time.
It was a good game.
There's that old tune, Singing in the Rain. What is the opposite of that?
Yelling in this desert.
Wasn't doing that, but the sogginess is our leadoff.
The Leadoff is sponsored by Universal Marble.
Yelling in the desert. Well, the Gamecocks still were riding high after taking down the #3 team in the country last week. So what's your reward for that all-time win? Well, another top 10 team. This time at home against the #9 Gators, who came to town after their first loss of the year in LSU last week. Not going to sugarcoat this any other way. Aesthetically, this game was like scanning the bar at last call. Not pretty. But the first play of the game was a dime. Flea flicker to Brian Edwards deep. And that was about the extent of the big plays the rain would let the Gamecocks make all afternoon. But they would punch it in with Mon Denson right after, and it's 7-0 Gamecocks right off the bat. How's that for a statement? It was a 10-10 game at the half after an interception. To start the second half, it's 3rd and 11, and the Gamecocks say, let's go draw, and it pays off. Tavian Feaster is in. Carolina jumps up 17-10 to open up the second half. The whole building is going berserk. People are wet. They're probably getting sick. Nobody cares. But literally the first play after they grab the lead, the Gators respond with a silencer. Damian Pierce down the sideline, and we are all tied up. And this was the start of the whole ref fiasco for fans. They didn't like that no call on what looks like maybe a hold by Tyree Cleveland on Israel Mukwamu, but nonetheless, we're all tied up. We headed to the fourth with the Gamecocks holding a 3-point lead, and everybody's getting loose, including him, especially when it came to being 4th down with the chance to grab a stranglehold on the game and watch Kyle Trask able to move around a little bit and buy just enough time to hit Kyle Pitts, and that would prove to be massive because the very next play, Trask steps up and hits Freddie Swain with the diving catch over the goal line, and that momentum is gone, folks. Gators take their first lead of the game. All right, time to get back to that whole officiating thing you all want to talk about. Looks like the Gamecocks force a takeaway to keep it a one-possession game later in the fourth, only to be negated by a defensive holding call, and that's when things started to get out of hand. We got people tossing around stuff on the field, towels, water bottles, which, I mean, I would try to get rid of my Dasani too, but that has nothing to do with this game. Gators would follow it up shortly after with Trask tossing a score to Pitts, and that'll leave a pit in your stomach. Gators win at 38-27, and Coach Will Muschamp discusses an unsportsmanlike conduct call he got with, well, choice words.
The guy ran 40 yards away and dropped a flag. I have no idea.
What is your...
I'd rather him drop it on my feet.
Did you say anything?
Yeah.
No, prior to the flag?
Yeah.
Something that you think warranted an unsportsmanlike?
It's not my judge. Drop it on my feet next time.
So clearly you were unhappy about the totality
I'm
of the
not going to comment about anything else. Don't go 40 yards away and drop a flag. How about that? Gutless.
At the time, #3 Clemson, they were on the road at Louisville yesterday. They were trying to carry some momentum from their last win, but things were pretty weird to start out. There were a lot of turnovers in the first half. The first one did go Clemson's way. Mikhail Cunningham fires to the end zone. It's through the hands of his guys, so the Tigers have the takeaway. But then Trevor Lawrence has some uncharacteristic throws. He's looking to the end zone, doesn't see the Cardinal defender coming in. They snipe it, so that's one Clemson turnover. There were a couple more in the first half. But finally, Lawrence does find some positive, steps up, fires to Joseph Ngata in the back of the end zone. A great catch. Clemson's up. Then things start clicking a little more after that. Lawrence just kind of heaves this one up, though. Another iffy throw, I guess you'd say. Justin Ross kind of saves him, makes the catch for another touchdown. They have a 2-touchdown lead in the first half. Then they really took off in the second half. Look at Travis Etienne go. 49-yard touchdown run. He had 192 yards in the game. He also did limp off the field in the game, so we'll see what comes of that. But Tigers dominate with a 45-10 win. Lawrence did address his turnovers and some of those questionable throws he made after the game.
Obviously didn't have a good start, not the start I wanted, just had two really bad decisions, and then I think just there, being able to bounce back was big for me, and I kind of pride myself on, looking ahead and forgetting the plays before, so that's just what I wanted to do, and really just show the guys that I've still got the confidence to throw it, and, still going to try to make all the throws, even though I had made two really bad plays, but just the guys were confident in me and had my back, so it was good.
Well, 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 what do we have here? Or more movement in the top 25 after moving to 7-0. The Clemson Tigers have fallen in the standings somehow. Alabama stays at number 1. LSU, they're number 2. But Ohio State jumped the Tigers to number 3. Clemson is 4. And Oklahoma is on the outside looking in at number 5.
Always interesting to see how that shakes up. Now let's go to some FCS. The Citadel on the road against rival Furman today. Early in the first quarter, the Paladins led by 3. Dogs drive down the field, cap it off like this. Clay Harris with a nice touchdown as he takes it off from Brandon Rainey and runs it up the gut for the score. And then there's more scoring coming your way. The third quarter, they took off Rainey to Dante Smith, finishes the job. It's 14-3. Very shortly after that, add another. Rainey, a long pitch, this time to Remus Bulmer. He gets everyone the ball, finds the front corner of the end zone. 21-3 Dogs. Now the Paladins did score, but not enough to come back. The Citadel with a huge win over the number 8 team in FCS, Furman. They take it 27-10.
Charleston Southern notched their second win of the season last night on the road against North Alabama. The Bucks won it 25-20, and it was another close win that came down to field goals in the fourth quarter. Head coach Autry Denson obviously happy with the road win, but could have gone without the stress of a close game.
Man, I cannot stand my guys. I believe they do this on purpose. They try to make it as hard as humanly possible just to see me sweat. But no, really good job, man. They did an excellent job of just never flinching, finding a way to fight through adversity, and finding a way to get a win.
I don't think he's going to win an Oscar anytime soon.
I don't know. I thought he was mad at him a little bit. All right, here's some good news for South Carolina State. They beat Morgan State 24-10 yesterday. With the win, Buddy Powell is now the all-time winningest coach in South Carolina State football history. That was a big moment for him. Congratulations to them up there. And now we have a quick look back at Week 8 of the high school football season with some of our top plays from Friday night.
Narrowing it down to 5 top plays this week was tough. There were some dynamic plays and explosive games in Week 8, but here we go. Number 5, Stratford at Cane Bay. Cobras trail, but quarterback Alex Mart takes things into his own hands, cuts through the Knights in for a touchdown. That'll tie it up at 7. The Cobras go on to win it in overtime, 29-28. Number 4, Somerville hosting West Ashley. Quarterback Colby Shirey lets one loose to his man, Brody Hopkins. A great catch, and to the house he goes. The Green Wave just rolled past West Ashley with a dominant 50-0 win. Number 3, Goose Creek at Wando. This duo has chemistry. Manny Mukwamu to Damon Muzon. Look at that grab. That is just talent, folks. Damon reels it in with one hand and stays on his feet like it's nothing. Now, we've got another from this game, so just hold on. But coming in at number 2, some fancy footwork in a surprisingly close game. RB Stall at Fort Dorchester. Khalil Jenkins, he's your ball carrier, comes to the near sideline, and what a juke! Makes a man completely lose his ankles and fall down. The Fort went on to win it 56-30. And number 1 comes from the Gators for a couple of reasons. First of all, credit the offensive line. Look at all the time Manny Mukwamu has to just scramble for his life looking for a target. And then he just heaves it up because he sees his man downfield. You know who. Moves on there for the grab. That ended in a touchdown. The drive did. And Goose Creek wins it 35-10. Those are your...
More high school football after the break. Richie Altman from Southern Sports Central joins us again to discuss Week 8, and that's right after the break.
And now the OT Spotlight, sponsored by Big Bear Roofing.
All right, time to break down week 8 of the high school football season. Joined with Richie Altman of Southern Sports Central and the voice of Somerville Green Wave. Let's get right to the game. That was the craziest ending, our game of the week for a reason. That would be Stratford and Cane Bay. They go for 2 and the win in overtime. And it's one thing to have that sort of a crazy call, but just the ripple effects of that game. Talk a little bit about it for both sides now. One team's in the playoff scenario, one's not as a result of that game.
Stratford had a great lead all the way through the game, right? And all of a sudden at the end, Cane Bay comes through. They're able to draw this into a couple of overtimes, and what you saw Somerville do last year over at Fort Dorchester, you go for the win. When you're on the road, you do what you have to do to get this thing shut down quickly and use that momentum from scoring into putting the game away.
Now, talking about a little bit of Oceanside, switching gears a little bit, another 70-0 result. Makes you wonder sometimes why we're even playing the games. Is that something where it's like, I know we've talked a little bit about sort of the 5A element.
Right.
Is it, they have the talent. We're talking about Keegan Williams and guys like that. They have the talent to go up against these teams. Is that something that you'd like to see happen, or is that something that we should appreciate what they're doing right now, no matter what the opponent is?
Well, I think you appreciate what they're doing because they're putting in the body of work. These coaches are coaching, the players are playing. The players can't control the games that they're in. They only can control the performance they put on the field.
Right.
Keegan Williams is doing that. He is by far right now the hottest running back in the Low Country. I don't care where he plays at. He's got the numbers that sit there somewhere around 1150 after 150 yards this weekend, 6 touchdowns.
And he's not even playing the whole games, is the other part too.
Right, he doesn't even play the whole game. So when you look at it, I think you have to look at it in the aspect of other teams. If I was a coach in 5A football, I want to play this team because if you're able to put up 70, 60, and they've got 4 shutouts in 8 games, I want you to come to my backyard, or I'll come to yours, and let's play head-to-head and see really how good are you.
We were giving so much praise to Fort Dorchester last week. We won't call it a close call,
right?
But halftime they're trailing to Stall, a team that got their first win in years just the week before. Was there any sort of red flags that you saw from that outcome, regardless of the win?
I think you have to look at the mental mistakes that were made in this game, and I've talked to some of the coaches on both sides, and I have a lot of respect for both sides. And I think for maybe a Fort Dorchester team that I don't say they're looking ahead of the game because they do have Ashley Ridge next weekend, and then they have Somerville the week after that. But there had to be something going on in the mindset of a defense that's not known for giving up any points, an offense that sputtered. I think they had 3 or 4 turnovers during the first quarter, first half. And they cleaned it up. That's what good teams do. They stand up at the end of the game, and of course you saw there was a big spread, but the points differential has nothing to do with how close this game really was.
Richie Altman, you're smarter for it. Appreciate the time, my man.
All right, now let's transition to NASCAR. The Monster Energy Cup Series continued today in Kansas. Let's just fast forward to the exciting part. 4 laps to go in the race. Denny Hamlin's in front. Bubba Wallace goes into the wall, so that brings out a caution. Sends the race to overtime. There's a spare tire just going. More drama in overtime. 2 laps to go. Behind the leaders, cars go into the wall. That brings out another caution. So a second overtime. That's also the 7th caution of the day. Then it's all about the restart. Hamlin has a good one, and he gets in front, holds off Chase Elliott to get the checkers at Kansas. That'll move Hamlin up to 3rd in the standings with that win. Kyle Busch, though, is still in the lead, but only by 4 points. The South Carolina Stingrays played their home opener last night against the Orlando Solar Bears. How the Rays started the season, coming up next.
Now, Carolina Connection, sponsored by Preferred Home Services.
Hockey is back in the Low Country. The Stingrays started their season last night at home against the Orlando Solar Bears. It is their third game of the season, their first at home, and they're looking for a third straight win. It was also packed the house night in the North Charleston Coliseum. Did a good job. It was loud. The first one's always fun, and it got louder when Mon Cooper stays in front of the net, gets the first Rays goal of the game. So they're up 1-0 in the first period. Goalie Parker Milner made some fantastic stops early, but finally Orlando is able to sneak one by him, ties this thing up at 1. Toward the end of the first, there was some chaos. Rays in front of the net. It looks like the puck goes in just over the line, but the officials, they've got to stop, take a look at it. They rule it did go in just over the line. It got loud again. Everybody's pumped. 2-1 in the first period, and the Rays take a W in their first night on home ice this season with a 4-2 win.
The Charleston Battery showed out against Blytheton Steel with their final home game at MUSC Health Stadium. They scored 1 goal in the first half and followed it up with a dominant offensive showing. Starting in the 65th minute, 4 more goals scored by the Battery to send the stadium out with a 5-1 win in fitting fashion. The win also secures a postseason berth for the USL team. They'll play either North Carolina FC or Ottawa Fury to start the USL Championship playoffs on October 23rd. This week, Do You Know Your Teammate took us to Berkeley High, where teammates Jake Dunn and Ty Haynes have been playing together for as long as they can remember. Well, even though they aren't on the same linebacking core anymore, they still spend all sorts of time together, which shows in this week's edition. All right, joining me now for Do You Know Your Teammate, Jake Dunn, Ty Haynes. Big expectations. These guys have known each other since they were 5. If Ty starts his own restaurant, what would be the main dish on the menu? We got wings and steak. Oh. You don't even know?
No, that's my favorite, but like,
You had
I
to
have my own restaurant. Steak would be the main course.
What NFL player does Jake model himself after? Luke Kuechly. And what is who we got?
I knew it was
Tom Brady. Whew. A skill that Ty has outside of football that people wouldn't know about.
Oh, that people wouldn't know about?
That people wouldn't know about.
Oh no, he doesn't keep. But he know what it is. He better not say it either.
You better not say it.
I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
3, 2, 1.
That's what I put.
You put dancing, and what did you put?
Watching football.
Watching football that people wouldn't know about. I would hope you're watching football. I guess the world will never know. If Jake was on a dating show, how far would he make it? You got 3 options. He leaves the first night, somewhere in the middle, or in the top 5. Top 5? Yeah. Top 5. Okay. So what's the approach here? Why top 5?
I don't know. I was just nice.
Oh yeah.
And yeah.
So you got the nice guy approach going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like flirting a lot, so I got a lot of practice.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Outfit fashion-wise, what is the craziest thing you've seen Ty wear?
It's the same type thing.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's constant fashion choice. Okay, then let's go with maybe what's his usual.
What's his? You don't got it, do you? So jeans, like jeans shorts with like
jeans and shorts,
and
then we got sweatpants and a hoodie.
Yeah, it's like
one is going to the rodeo and the other one is just sort of laying back and chilling.
Yeah, exactly. two different scenarios.
Jake has one end zone celebration where he won't get in trouble. Coach Robinson's not going to do anything. What is he pulling out? If you're not scoring much, maybe that one time you get in the end zone?
I don't think I show off that much.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I'm more of a quiet player, you know?
From the same guy that's been flirting? Okay. Spin the ball or spike, and we got the worm or the, what is the floss?
One more break here on News 2 Sports Overtime. A very important promise that was made here in the Low Country. It is finally kept. We'll explain coming up next. We just have to share this gem of the week. Now, after Bishop England won their 3rd straight baseball state championship this spring, head coach Mike Darnell, who you see right there, revealed on camera that he had promised his family if they won, they would get another puppy. Well, this weekend, that promise was fulfilled as the Darnell family welcomed home Kaya. Look at that.
This is by far her favorite story possible.
I love this story.
Always
Coach Darnell
brings
looks so happy.
my favorite part about this is, as you're looking at it, this was revealed through Snapchat.
Oh.
Reliable news source.
It
comes
is.
through Snapchat.
Thank you, Snapchat.
Congrats to Coach.
And now, OT's The Talker, sponsored by Bojangles.
All right, what are you folks going to be talking about at the water cooler? And that would be Clemson dropping down once again, 2nd straight week in the polls despite remaining undefeated. And of course, Gamecocks fans probably still talking about the refs. We know that's going to be the case. I've seen it all over Twitter, and really nothing's going to change. Also, the World Series starts, and what is the one that...
Did you see what I added there?
Yeah, what's the last one, though? It's not in the teleprompter, though, and I feel like that's for a reason.
No, I just added it for you. That's for you.
Oh.
The NBA starts this week. Logan wanted to make sure that was known.
Yeah, she's such a big fan that she hasn't even picked a team yet, though.
So it's football season right now, and
Yeah,
that's
it's going on
that's
right
my
now.
focus.
But it's exciting, you know. You have the NBA and all that comes with it, and I think you're thrilled, and it might take a little bit to get there. We're gonna work through it.
Yeah.
Kind of like parts of the show.
It's been a good show. Thank you so much for watching News Series Sports Overtime. We will be here this time next week. We hope you have a fantastic week, and we'll see you when we see you
We'll see ya.
right here.